Made in England, developed in Germany, set to shine in Spain, Jude Bellingham's rise has been nothing short of remarkable. Just 3 years and 10 months on from making his debut for his beloved Birmingham City, the all-action midfielder was unveiled as a Real Madrid Galactico, becoming for now the second most expensive British player of all time at £88.5 million, with the potential to break the record by the end of his 6-year deal. With 200 career appearances to his name, including 24 caps for England, a crucial role in a DFB Pokal win with Borussia Dortmund, back-to-back inclusions in the Bundesliga team of the season, and the honour of being named the division's Player of the Year in 22-23, Bellingham has already achieved more than most players could ever dream of. And he's only just turned 20. But how did this precociously talented player get to this stage so soon in his fledgling career? Welcome back to Explained. This is the rise of Jude Bellingham. It's fair to say it's not been the easiest few years for fans of Birmingham City. They've spent just 7 seasons this century in the Premier League, most recently in 2010-11, have been plagued by mismanagement and financial issues, and haven't finished higher than 17th in the Championship in their last 7 attempts. It's therefore unsurprising that the club have taken great pride in the fact that one of their own, Birmingham-born and bred Jude Bellingham, has become one of the best midfielders in the world before he's even reached adulthood. His childhood reveals a lot about him. Born in Stourbridge, a small town 15 miles west of Birmingham in June 2003 to Denise and Mark Bellingham, the latter a prolific goalscorer at non-league level, it's surprising to learn that he wasn't initially obsessed with football. As his first coach, Phil Woodridge, told BBC Sport, a 4-year-old Jude took a while for him to get into football. It wasn't just overnight, it was a matter of a few months. But when it clicked, a passion that has seen him berate teammates at Dortmund or cajole England teammates in Qatar was born, and Jude and his brother Job, who recently signed for Sunderland, were never not seen with a ball at their feet. Waldridge and Mark Bellingham set up Stourbridge Juniors, Jude's first team, and at the age of 7 he was signed by Birmingham City. What was he like back then? Well, Mike Dodds, a coach at Sunderland who looked after Bellingham in the Birmingham Academy, told the EFL he was quite quick. He wasn't technically that far ahead of a lot of the boys, but he had a real appetite and enthusiasm for the game. A lot of players have immense talent, but what tends to separate the very best is their mentality. Dodds explains he had a real desire to be the best at everything, whether it be the gym, whether it be his analysis, whether it be his schoolwork, whether it be his matches on a Saturday or a Sunday. His general desire and application stood out from other boys. The seriousness with which he took his career was clear from an early age. A diary entry by a 13-year-old Bellingham for his school website when he met up with England under-15s read, "I was glad to be tucked up nice and warm at the end of it. Realising the importance of a good rest, I drifted off." Whilst many teenagers take their eye off the ball during those formative years, Bellingham was already ultra-professional, constantly looking to improve. He still needed a chance though, and it came from a surprise source. Pep Clotet has had a fairly unremarkable managerial career, never lasting more than 13 months in any one job, taking charge of clubs including Oxford United, Spal, Brescia and his current side Torpedo Moscow. But his 47-game spell at the helm of Birmingham between June 2019 and July 2020 proved essential to Bellingham's development. In an interview with Mail Sport in 2021, he revealed, "I remember seeing Jude in the younger teams at Birmingham and straight away I thought he could train with the first team. As soon as I got the job, I brought him over." The reason was simple. As Clotet told the EFL, "Have I ever seen another 16-year-old like him? No. Only Messi." The feeling was shared by his teammates, with Harley Dean, who spent 12 years playing at centre-back for Birmingham and Brentford, telling Mail Sport, "He was the best player in training every day. I've never seen anyone like Jude. He was a cut above." After playing for Blues' under-18 team at 14 and their under-23 side at 15, it wasn't long before he announced himself to a wider audience. On the 6th of August 2019, he started an EFL Cup match against Portsmouth, becoming the club's youngest ever player a little over a month after his 16th birthday, breaking Trevor Francis's 50-year record. By the end of the month, he became their youngest ever goalscorer, netting a winner against Stoke on his home debut, and backed that up with the only goal in a 1-0 win against Charlton 2 weeks later. He was named EFL Young Player of the Month that November. In January, Birmingham fought off interest from Man United, and he finished the season with 4 goals to his name in 44 appearances, ranking 8th in the squad for league minutes as a 16-year-old. With Birmingham having only survived on the final day, Clotet was soon shown the door, and it was clear that the youngster had outgrown the club less than 50 games into his senior career. Man United once again came in for him, pulling out all the stops. Not only did they call upon Sir Alex Ferguson and Eric Cantona to meet him when he toured Carrington, but as former Blues CEO Juan Dong-Ren told Mundo Deportivo, they were offering much more in salary compared to the rest, maybe double. He was guaranteed millions in the bank and he didn't take it. That is not normal for a player at all. However, Bellingham looked at the bigger picture. Yes, United's offer was more lucrative, but they'd only played in the Champions League 3 times in the previous 5 seasons. Dortmund, meanwhile, had missed out just once in the 9 campaigns prior. Not only that, but with a history of developing young players such as Ousmane Dembele, Jadon Sancho and Christian Pulisic, Bellingham believed that Dortmund was the ideal next stop in his development. A £30 million deal was agreed. Birmingham retired his number 22 shirt, a number he chose because it represented his unique ability to play as a 4, 8 and 10, and Bellingham was on his way to the Bundesliga. What is so remarkable about Jude Bellingham is that he's barely taken a sideways step in his career, let alone a backwards one. Many expected him to be eased into the first team picture, but no, after being on the bench for 2 of his first 9 Bundesliga games, he has only been benched for 1 Dortmund game since. A 2-2 draw against Mainz on the final day of 22-23, having missed the previous game against Augsburg with a knee injury. And the records, they came thick and fast. He scored on his debut in the DFB Pokal, becoming Dortmund's youngest ever goalscorer, became the competition's second youngest scorer in the knockouts with a strike versus Man City, and followed Yuri Tielemans as one of 2 players in the competition's history to make 10 Champions League appearances before turning 18. But these weren't just token offerings given to a youngster. Bellingham has been the beating heart and energizer of the BVB machine practically since day one. He may have ranked 9th for league minutes in his debut campaign, but he's ranked 1st in each of the last 2 seasons. And whilst Dortmund may have underwhelmed in the Champions League in his final 2 seasons at the club, failing to make it out of the group stage in 21-22 before being torn apart by Rangers in the Europa League playoffs and losing to a poor Chelsea side last term, Bellingham has been sensational, racking up 8 goals and 7 assists in 25 games in the competition. Of course, having instantly looked so at home not only in the Bundesliga but on the European stage, the noise was getting louder and louder for Bellingham to become an England regular. Southgate, though, as his way, was cautious. Although he was called up after injuries to Ward-Prowse and Alexander-Arnold in November 2020, the only teams he played more than 45 minutes against in competitive fixtures in 2021 were San Marino and Andorra, whilst he was only afforded 55 minutes as England made the final of Euro 2020 that summer. But by the time the 2022 World Cup came around, Bellingham was ready to announce himself on the international stage. With England's 2021 Player of the Year Calvin Phillips struggling for game time at Man City, Southgate had no excuse and thrust the Dortmund star into the limelight. And boy did he respond. Not only did he become England's second youngest goalscorer at a World Cup with a goal against Iran, but he ranked 1st in the squad for shot creating actions, blocks, tackles and interceptions, dribbles and progressive passes received. His ability to physically dominate and control any opponent was shown in the statistics. Across 22-23, he ranked 3rd in the Bundesliga behind Kimmich and Kolo Muani for tackles won in the opposition 3rd, and he topped the division for dribbles completed and progressive carries, as the presence of Emre Can, like Rice with England, freed up the star to roam, break up play in higher areas, and use his athleticism to attack the box. Whilst in his early days at Dortmund, in an unbalanced side, the risks he occasionally took in possession and his frustrations with an immature team that would often throw away leads in calamitous fashion saw him berate his teammates, most famously Nico Schulz, who he swore at repeatedly in a game against Rangers. Bellingham has matured, captaining BVB in the absence of Reus and Hummels in 22-23, becoming the youngest player to do so in Bundesliga history. By this summer, it was clear that Bellingham would be in demand. His manager Edin Terzic had admitted that it was unbelievable that a 19-year-old plays like him. Managerial legend Jose Mourinho had revealed, "I love everything about Bellingham," whilst Pep Guardiola, who saw Bellingham firsthand in 2 fixtures against the Germans this season, confessed his admiration, saying, "I cannot believe it. Maybe he's a liar. He's a fantastic player." Liverpool were initially believed to be favourites for his signature, but as The Athletic reported, given the scale of their summer rebuild they require, they decided to use their resources elsewhere. It was now a straight shootout between Man City and Real Madrid. Florentino Perez stressed the benefits of learning from Kroos and Modric, winners of 9 Champions Leagues between them, whilst pointing out the strides Vinicius Jr. and Camavinga had taken in the last few seasons. Despite City's best efforts, which The Athletic claimed included Guardiola and Haaland calling him on an almost weekly basis, the decision was made. Bellingham chose Real Madrid. Having asked for a fee of €150 million in January, credit to the 14-time European champions for getting their man for a fixed price of €103 million. He was announced in June 2023 at their training ground and presented with the club's iconic number 5 shirt, worn by club legends such as Rafael Varane, Fernando Redondo and Zinedine Zidane, amongst many others. Whilst the presence of Modric, Kroos, Tchouaméni, Camavinga and Valverde mean Real Madrid will arguably have the most stacked midfield resources in football history next season, few have any doubt that Jude Bellingham will repay the faith shown in him and more. Having excelled in the Championship, dominated the Bundesliga and ripped it up at a World Cup, The 20-year-old has the world at his feet, and with the famous white of Real Madrid wrapped around him, he has every chance of building a legacy that surpasses the legends of the English game. So guys, that was our explainer on the rise of Jude Bellingham. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What would you like to see us cover next time on our Explain series? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to Football Daily, and I'll catch you next time.